Hey, what up, everybody? It is I, Big B Knows Best 42 here. We're gonna do our second album review here, right on YouTube. And today it's gonna be Eagles, Hotel California, 1976. Hotel California was released in October of 1976 on Elektra Asylum Records. It was the fifth album released by the Eagles. Independently of two releases we know of, like their greatest hits 1971 to 75 album, which was 10 of their best tracks from the first four albums. Correction, this was the fifth studio album released by the Eagles. And it is the number third all-time best-selling album ever. Hotel California was also the first album to feature guitarist Joe Walsh, formerly of the James Gang, and the first album that the Eagles featured without banjo player Bernie Leadon, who was replaced by Joe. The album best known, obviously, for its title track, Hotel California, a song that's obviously debated for its lyrical content, and a 7-minute single. That was a big breakthrough in and of itself for these guys, having a single that was about 6.5 minutes long. Most songs by most bands that had been 3 to 4 minutes long or under was because they wanted to make a single for the radio and be able to make money off it, and under no circumstance should Hotel California ever be the hit single that it ever got to be. I attribute that to the great guitar solo by one of my all-time favorites, Don Felder, and of course the great Joe Walsh, right there at the end. That was absolutely killer. And in case anybody doesn't know, that title track came from a demo tape written on doing a flamenco-style guitar playing to a cha-cha beat by none other than Fingers Felder, baby. One of my all-time favorite guitarists of all time. One of the things I always personally really liked about the Eagles was the vocal harmonies. The distinct blend of different vocals was always something great. But what's really cool about this album, Hotel California, in my personal opinion, is that they really made quite a big change in their musical direction at that point. Now, I think it's worthy of note that in that same year that this was released, earlier that year was the release of Greatest Hits 1971 to 75, which was heavily influenced by very country, melodic style, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young type of sound, Neil Young, Seals and Crofts, really singy vocal melodies, the Flying Burrito Brothers, which is where Bernie Leadon had come from. On this album, you notice the Eagles really do a great attempt to really cut that out. Don Henley has a more rock and roll style singing voice, and where Glenn Frey had been quite a prominent lead vocalist on many of those early country records, he only sings one track on this record, which was New Kid in Town, and that was going to become a thing throughout the next Eagles record as well. It also had some other great songs on here. Victim of Love, a really good rocker with Don Felder playing an absolutely exquisite rock and roll lead guitar. Joe Walsh adding some killer smoke and slide guitar work. And then it had, Life in the Fast Lane, which was another great Eagles rocker, a nice mid-70s rocker that lyrically describes the excessive lifestyle, that it all stems from that killer opening riff written in a rehearsal by Joe on an acoustic guitar. This was really one of the greatest rock and roll records of all time. It had some really ballad-like tunes on it, though, as well, like Wasted Time, Pretty Maids All in a Row, The Last Resort, Try and Love Again, where there was kind of almost this lyrical, loose concept theme where about second chances, where trying to get somewhere, not quite getting to where you had wanted to be, but you ultimately, there's this room for a second chance and a sense of improvement. Um, I gotta say, the one track I gotta say I really find most worthy of checking out if you've never listened to it before would be Try and Love Again, which was written by Randy Meisner. It was and this was the last excuse me, this was the last Eagles studio record, which would contain Randy Meisner on bass and vocals. Obviously, he was originally from the group called Poco, where he was replaced by Timothy B. Schmidt, who also replaced Randy in Poco. But great song with great vocals. Obviously, it never played it really live, and of course, it was Take It to the Limit that really got Randy his notoriety by singing it live. I encourage you to go and watch the History of the Eagles documentary and find out a little more about how Take It to the Limit and Randy's soaring high harmony vocals at the end became a great source of contention in the band. I don't really want to dangle the carrot in front of anybody who finds this interesting. Want you to kind of go in, check that out on your own. I could try to send a link for the documentary in here if I could find it, but really think you should go check that out if you are in fact a fan of these guys. I mean, I can't stress it enough. We don't have real music out there anymore. This is a great... What is Hotel California and why is it a great album? It was a great example of music being made by 5 very talented musicians, singers, songwriters, singing into a microphone, playing the instrument, and being produced very well without using any kind of computer or anything like that to try to make it sound good. This required a use of talent, brain, everything else to make something sound good, and it sounded exceptional. So that's what I think really makes this just an excellent album. So check it out. Once again, this is album review number 2, The Eagles, Hotel California. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.